We have a clip here today of Jesse Waters on the 5, everybody's favorite dumbass Fox News host who is gearing up to take Tucker Carlson's spot. And what better way to do it than by him going on the air and saying that, he really doesn't understand the difference between climate and weather. And he doesn't understand why it's so hot outside lately. Here it is.
It's getting hot out there, Harold. It's getting real hot. I don't know what's going on with the weather. If the weather is the same thing as the climate, I don't even know that.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I think me and Jesse and most people that are in America, at least right now, I don't know where everyone in my audience lives, it's fucking hot outside. It's really hot where I live. Some of you already know that I live in Virginia. It's fucking hot. It's fucking hot outside. It was almost 100 degrees where I am today. It's not, I don't like it. It's sticky and gross. But that's not the focus of this video today, to tell you that it's hot outside, because again, most of you probably already know that. Today, we're going to be talking about how Jesse Waters is one of the biggest idiots to ever grace the airwaves of Fox News. So he said, actually, we should get started with his claim. He doesn't know what the difference between weather and climate is. What's the difference? Well, it's actually not hard, and I actually learned this when I was in elementary school. Weather refers to short-term changes in the atmosphere. Climate describes what the weather is like over a long period of time in a specific area. Different regions can have different climates. To describe the climate of a place, we might say what the temperatures are like during different seasons, how windy it usually is, or how much rain or snow typically falls. And again, I learned this shit. I remember second grade learning about what climate was. I learned about different climates in somewhere like the Amazon, the rainforest, Antarctica. It really isn't something that you have to sit there and scratch your head about. The second thing that Jesse Waters said here, and we're going to get into more of this just a little bit later, more of these numbers, is, I don't know what's going on with the weather. Why the fuck is it so hot? Well, it's so hot because of climate change or global warming. And some recent data from World Weather Attribution literally shows how climate change, which is perpetuated by human beings and us, emitting big countries like China, the United States, India, emitting greenhouse gases, they've pretty much showed that the reason that these heat waves are hitting us so hard right now, it's because of climate change. Using published peer-reviewed methods, we analyzed how human-induced climate change altered the likelihood and intensity of 18-day average maximum temperatures over the most affected regions in the western U.S., Texas, and northern Mexico. And they have these little charts down here. And again, I recommend that all of you guys go and look up this stuff for yourself. The sources that I'm providing right now, I do believe are 100% accurate. I don't feel like I needed to say that, but just for anyone in the audience that might be skeptical, heat waves are amongst the deadliest natural hazards, with thousands of people dying from heat-related causes each year. However, the full impact of a heat wave is rarely known until weeks or months afterward, once death certificates are collected or scientists can analyze excess deaths. In line with what has been expected from past climate projections and IPCC, which is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, reports these events are not rare anymore today. That's bad, just for anyone that was wondering. North America, Europe, and China have experienced heat waves increasingly frequently over the last years as a result of warming caused by human activities. Hence, the current heat waves are not rare in today's climate, with an event like the currently expected approximately once every 15 years in the U.S.-Mexico region, once every 10 years in southern Europe, and once in 5 years for China. Without human-induced climate change, these heat events would, however, have been extremely rare. In China, it would have been about 1 in 250-year event, while maximum heat, like in July 2023, would have been virtually impossible to occur in the United States and Mexico region and southern Europe if humans had not warmed the planet by burning fossil fuels. Now we're going to go back to the clip here of Jesse Waters, and it's not that much longer, and we have also more to get into.
Who to believe at this point? I don't know if this is normal. I don't know if this is abnormal.
Well, it's not. It's not normal. It's 100% abnormal, Jesse Waters, and I'm here to tell you that. And I like when people want to learn, have an open mind. But I can tell you who you can believe. You can believe the scientists that have been studying climate change for as long as you were a little baby boy, buddy. That's how you should believe. Don't believe the dumbass Republicans that sit there and say, "Well, it's a pattern. This was happening. They were saying this since I was little." Yeah, maybe, but now it's actually becoming a problem again. Jesse said it best himself. It's fucking hot outside. It's really fucking hot. So we're definitely feeling the effects of climate change, at least to a small degree now. And I know that really hot weather can be a small inconvenience to people. But at the rate that we're going now, in the future, maybe not my generation, maybe the generation after me, I really don't know. Again, we don't know how much time we have. These scientists have had one message ever since we have been, we've been getting in more research about climate change. And the one message is we need to phase off fossil fuels and we need to make major changes now, or this planet is not going to be sustainable. It's not going to exist. Life will not be able to exist on this planet in the near future.
I don't know anything anymore. I don't know who to trust.
Well, again, Jesse, that's a personal problem, buddy. Okay? You need to trust the scientists. You need to trust the people that have been studying this since you little baby boy, before you were born.
None of these numbers make any sense to me. But if I were Hillary, I would blame China.
Good one.
Why does she blame the Republican Party when China is the one with all the greenhouse gases? That's where you want to be politically in this. And I don't know anything about the science.
No,
she has.
Yeah, it's clear he doesn't know anything about the science.
She has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were criticizing Hillary Clinton there for saying that, apparently she said this. I don't know if she actually said it. MAGA Republicans are the reason for climate change. And Jesse Waters says, well, what about China, Hillary? What about China? So we actually have numbers on this because, again, I guess Fox News is just literally too lazy. Not too lazy. They just don't care, and they have to do the Republican grift. They have to do their Republican propaganda in order to get viewers on and watch their program. But the top 5 countries that produce the most carbon dioxide, most greenhouse gases, China is number 1. But I don't think the United States can be very critical when we are literally second. And China, they have 1 billion people over there. So that's a lot more than the United States has. But again, we have 333 million people here, and we are second. China is the number 1 largest emitter of carbon dioxide gas in the world right here, as you can see. But the United States is number 2. So I feel like on a list like this, or when it comes to something like this, if you are number 2 on the list, then you can't sit there and point your finger at the person who's number 1 on the list, who's right above you, and say, well, they're bad. It's them that's bad. But we also have some more numbers here that I thought were pretty interesting. They're a little hard to see here on my screen. I apologize about that. But nearly 7 in 10 Americans favor the U.S. taking steps to become carbon neutral by 2050, a goal outlined by President Joe Biden at the outset of his administrations. 9 in 10 Democrats, this is what I think is the important part, 9 in 10 Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents support the U.S. taking steps to become carbon neutral by 2050. Among Republicans and Republican leaners, 44% support this goal and 53% oppose it, but there are important differences by age within the GOP. This is what I think is probably the most important part about these polling numbers here. 2/3 of Republicans under age 30, 67% of Republicans under age 30 favor the U.S. taking steps to become carbon neutral, but about the same share of Republicans age 65 and older oppose this. So I think those numbers are very telling about where people stand on this issue. And, obviously you just heard Fox News there sitting there saying, well, I don't know who to trust. I don't know what's going on, but we are going to talk about Hillary Clinton because that's the real issue. Hillary Clinton is the real issue. It's not that climate change is literally going to destroy the planet. That doesn't matter. Jesse Waters literally said in the clip, well, I don't know what the numbers mean. It's Jesse, it's because you don't want you don't want the numbers to make sense to you. You don't want to accept what is literally fact. Live in an illusion. Live in your fairy tale world. It's never going to change. These people are always going to be like this. They're always going to be terrible propagandists. That's going to be it for the video. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Press that little bell. Turn on all notifications so you guys never miss an upload. And also drop a comment down below and let me know what you thought of the video.